My name is Emmy. I am 26 years old. I live in a small house with my 4 children and their father. From the outside, people might think it's a complete family, a mother, a father, happy kids running around. But inside, our home feels heavy. Not because of the walls or the roof, but because of his anger. It's strange how a voice you once loved can become the thing you fear the most. I remember when his words made me feel safe. Now, they make the air in the room turn cold. Still, I stay. Not because I don't notice the hurt, but because my children need a place to sleep at night, a warm meal in the morning, and both parents at their school events. I stay because I want their world to feel whole, even if mine is quietly breaking. Every day, I tell myself, just get through today. For them. The sun has barely touched the curtains when I hear little footsteps running through the hallway. My youngest, Sam, bursts into the kitchen first, still in his pajamas, rubbing his eyes. "Mama, cereal," he mumbles sleepily. I smile, pulling him close for a second before setting a bowl in front of him. One by one, the others follow, Mia, holding her homework folder, Josh, already wearing his school bag, and Anna, my oldest, quietly helping me pack lunches. The sound of the front door opening makes my shoulders stiffen. He's home from his night shift. No good morning. Just the scrape of a chair against the floor as he sits at the table, picking up the newspaper. I place his coffee in front of him, just the way he likes it, 2 spoons of sugar, no milk. But as soon as I set it down, he frowns. "It's not hot enough," he mutters, pushing it slightly toward me. I don't argue. I just take the cup back to the stove, heat it again, and place it in front of him once more. The kids keep eating quietly, eyes flicking between us. I force a small smile at them. "Eat up, you'll be late for school," I say softly. Inside, my chest feels tight. It's only morning, and already the air in the room feels heavy. But for their sake, I pretend it's just another day. The kitchen sink is full, warm water running over my hands as I wash the breakfast dishes. The sound of the kids' voices fades as they get ready for school in the other room. From here, I can still hear him turning the pages of his newspaper. My mind drifts, not to this morning, but to the way things used to be. There was a time when he'd stand right here beside me, drying the dishes while telling me about his day. When laughter filled these walls so easily that even the neighbors could hear it through the open windows. When his voice, the same voice that now carries sharp edges, felt like a safe place to rest. I close my eyes for a second, trying to remember that version of us. But lately, those memories feel like old photographs, faded at the edges, details slipping away the longer I look at them. I open my eyes to the sound of the kettle whistling. Another cup of coffee for him. Another day of swallowing my words. I tell myself what I always do, just keep going, Emmy. They need you steady, no matter how much you're shaking inside. Josh drops a spoon on the table, and the clink of metal on wood seems louder than it should be. Her father looks up from the newspaper, his eyes narrowing. "Can't you be more careful?" he snaps, his voice sharp enough to cut the quiet. Josh's small hands freeze midair. He mumbles, "Sorry, Dad," barely above a whisper. I can see his shoulders curling in, the way they do when he's trying to make himself smaller. Before the silence stretches too long, I step in. "It's fine, sweetheart," I say quickly, reaching over to pick up the spoon. Accidents happen. I'll get another one. I move as if nothing's wrong, smiling at Josh, then turning to Sam and asking about his favorite cartoon. A few seconds later, the kids are chatting again, the tension in their little bodies easing bit by bit. Across the table, he's gone back to reading. No apology. No sign he even noticed how his tone felt. Inside, I want to tell him to be softer, to see the way his words land like stones. But I swallow it down. The kids have a whole day ahead at school. I won't let their morning start with the weight I carry. The morning air outside is crisp, carrying the faint smell of fresh bread from the bakery down the street. The four of them walk ahead of me, their backpacks bouncing with each step, their chatter spilling into the quiet street. Mia is telling Anna about a drawing she made in art class yesterday. Josh is showing Sam how to tie his shoelaces faster. Their little voices overlap in a way that feels like music, messy, but warm. For a few minutes, I let myself slow down, just to watch them. It's in moments like this that I remember why I stay. At the school gate, they each turn to me in their own way. Mia gives a quick wave, Anna smiles softly, Josh grins, and Sam wraps his arms around my waist for a fast hug before running inside. I stand there for a moment after they've gone in, holding on to that feeling. Here, away from the house, away from the weight in the air, I can see them as they truly are, happy, safe, still believing the world is kind. I take a deep breath. For them, I will carry it all. If it means these smiles last a little longer, it's worth it. By the time I get home, the air inside already feels different, heavier. He's sitting at the kitchen table, his coffee cup half empty, bills spread out in front of him. We're short again this month, he says without looking up. His tone isn't just tired, it's sharp. I set my bag down quietly. I can pick up extra sewing work for Mrs. Harris. That should. That's not the point, Emmy, he interrupts, finally meeting my eyes. You spend too much. You don't think ahead. The words land hard, even though I know they're not true. Every grocery list, every school expense, every small treat for the kids, I count each coin before I hand it over. I'm careful, I say softly. He leans back in his chair, scoffing. Careful doesn't keep the lights on. I bite back the urge to defend myself. Not because I agree with him, but because I know where this could go if I push back. I've learned that silence is sometimes the only way to keep the storm from getting worse. So I nod, even though it burns inside. I'll make it work, I say, my voice steady but low. He turns back to the bills, conversation over. And I turn toward the sink, where yesterday's coffee mug still waits to be washed, another quiet chore, another quiet surrender. The house is quiet now. He's left for work, and the kids are still at school. It's the only time of day when the walls don't feel like they're pressing in on me. I walk into the small bedroom I share with the children. Their artwork covers one corner of the wall, uneven pieces of paper taped over each other, the edges curling with time. I sit on the bed and let my eyes wander over them. Mia's rainbow with the crooked smiley face in the middle. Josh's drawing of a rocket that somehow also has wings. Anna's careful handwriting under a picture of our family, all of us holding hands. And Sam's scribbles, messy, bright, and full of life. For a few minutes, I forget about the bills, the sharp words, the heavy silences. These colors, these little worlds they've made on paper, feel untouched by any of that. I traced the corner of Anna's family picture with my fingertip, noticing she drew us all smiling. Even him. Even me. A part of me aches, wondering how long I can keep that smile real for them. But another part feels a small spark of strength. Because as long as I can keep these walls filled with their laughter and their colors, maybe that's enough. The sunlight in the kitchen feels softer in my memory. I can almost smell the fresh bread cooling on the counter, hear the faint hum of a radio playing in the background. It was our first year together. He would come home early just to help me cook. I'd be stirring a pot of soup, and he'd sneak up behind me, sliding his arms around my waist, making me laugh so hard I'd nearly spill it. We didn't have much then, a second-hand sofa, mismatched cups, just enough plates for two. But it never felt like less. It felt full. Full of plans, of dreams, of promises whispered late at night about the life we'd build together. I remember the way he used to look at me, like I was his favorite part of the world. I held on to that look. I believed in it. The sound of a car passing outside pulls me back to the present. I'm sitting on the same bed, in the same house, but the warmth in that memory feels like it belongs to someone else's life. I take a deep breath and push the memory away. The past can be a dangerous place when the present feels so different. It's late afternoon when I walk to the school gate, the sun low and warm against my face. Parents gather in small groups, chatting while they wait for the bell. I stand a little apart, my hands wrapped around the straps of my bag. Emmy? I turn to see Laura, another mother from Josh's class. She's holding a paper bag of groceries, her hair still tied up from work. "You've been quiet lately," she says, her tone light but her eyes searching mine. It's the kind of question that sounds casual, but underneath, it's really asking more. I force a small smile. "Oh, just busy," I reply, adjusting the strap on my shoulder. "You know how it is with 4 kids." She nods slowly, but I can tell she's not completely convinced. "Yeah. I know." Before I can say anything else, the school bell rings. Children spill out of the building, their laughter cutting through the air, and I'm grateful for the distraction. Josh runs to me first, waving a piece of paper. "Mama, look. I got a star on my homework." I crouch down, hugging him tight, hiding my face in his shoulder for a second longer than necessary. Because sometimes, the easiest way to answer "Are you okay?" is to let your smile be louder than your truth. That evening, the kitchen smells of pasta and garlic bread. The kids are sitting around the table, chattering about their day while I stir the sauce on the stove. Anna, my oldest, has been unusually quiet. When I set her plate in front of her, she looks up at me, her eyes serious in a way that doesn't belong to a 12-year-old. "Mama, are you sad?" Her voice is soft, almost hesitant, like she's afraid of the answer. For a second, I freeze with the spoon in my hand. I see the other 3 pause mid-bite, their attention flicking to me. 4 pairs of eyes, waiting. I force a gentle smile and ruffle Anna's hair. "Sad?" "No, sweetheart. Just tired. Cooking for all of you is hard work, you know." Her mouth curves into a small grin, but I can tell she's not entirely convinced. Before she can say anything else, I point to her homework folder on the counter. "Now tell me, did you finish that history assignment? I bet you got the highest marks again." The conversation shifts. The boys start competing over who can tell the funniest joke, and laughter fills the room again. I turn back to the stove, my smile still on my face, but it's the kind that stays only for them. Because they don't need to know the weight I carry. Not yet. The house is still. No footsteps in the hallway, no voices from the children's room, no clinking of dishes. Just the faint hum of the refrigerator and the ticking of the clock on the wall. I move quietly into the kitchen, careful not to wake anyone. The dim light above the sink casts long shadows across the floor. I sit at the small table, my hands wrapped around a cup of lukewarm tea I don't plan to drink. The day plays over in my mind, the sharp words at breakfast, the cold silence at lunch, the careful smile I held for the children all evening. And now, with no one here to see me, the smile slips away. Tears come before I can stop them. They fall silently, rolling down my cheeks, dripping onto my hands. I press my lips together to keep from making a sound. Crying out loud feels dangerous in this house. I stare at the steam rising from my tea until it fades completely, the cup going cold in my palms. When I finally stand, I rinse it in the sink, wipe my face, and glance toward the hallway. The children are still sleeping peacefully. I take a slow breath. By morning, this moment will be gone, replaced with another practiced smile. Because they'll never see this side of me. They can't. The morning light filters through the thin kitchen curtains, painting soft patterns on the floor. I've been awake for an hour already, packing lunches, ironing uniforms, and trying to bury the heaviness of last night under layers of routine. Sam shuffles in first, hair sticking up in every direction, dragging his blanket like a cape. I greet him with an exaggerated gasp. Is that my superhero? Did you come to save breakfast? He giggles, climbing onto his chair. The sound is like sunlight breaking through clouds. One by one, the others join us. Mia tells me about a science project, Josh insists he can eat 3 slices of toast, and Anna quietly helps me pour juice into cups. I make sure to smile at each of them, leaning down to kiss the tops of their heads as I set plates on the table. When he walks into the room, the shift is immediate, their voices lower, shoulders stiffen. But I keep my tone light, asking him if he'd like eggs with his coffee, pretending I don't notice the change in the air. Because this is my job, to hold the cracks together just long enough for my children to start their day believing that home is safe. Even if I have to pretend. And as they leave for school, backpacks bouncing and laughter returning, I tell myself again, if they can start their mornings with smiles, then I can endure the rest. It's early evening when the storm starts. The children are in the living room, scattered between homework books and crayons, the TV murmuring softly in the background. I'm in the kitchen, stirring a pot of soup, when I hear his voice, sharp, cutting through the air. How many times do I have to tell you, Emmy? You never listen. His footsteps are heavy as he comes into the kitchen, waving a crumpled bill in his hand. I glance toward the doorway, and there they are, 4 small faces peeking in, eyes wide. My stomach twists. Not now, I say quietly, my voice meant to calm, but it only seems to make him louder. Don't tell me when I can talk in my own house. The children freeze, unsure if they should run or stay. I force a quick, steady smile toward them. Hey, why don't you all go into your room and pick a story for tonight? I'll be there in a minute. They hesitate, but Anna gently takes Sam's hand and leads the others down the hall. Only when I hear their door click shut do I turn back to him, my voice lower, calmer, doing what I have to do to end it quickly. Because no matter how heavy the words feel on me, I will not let them fall on my children. Not tonight. Not ever, if I can help it. The house has gone quiet again. The only sound is the faint hum of the fridge and the clink of the spoon as I stir the soup, even though it's already done. I glance toward the hallway, where the children's bedroom door is closed. I imagine them inside, Anna probably reading to Sam, Josh doodling, Mia listening with her head resting on her sister's shoulder. Safe. Together. That's all I want. For them to remember this house as a place where they had each other, not as a place where the air was always heavy. I take a slow breath, steadying myself. I know I can't control him, his moods, his words, the way he changes a room just by walking into it. But I can control what they see, what they hear, what they carry into their own lives. So I make a silent promise, one I've made 100 times before. As long as I'm here, I'll be their shield. Even if it means standing in the storm alone. The afternoon sun is already fading when I hear the front door burst open. Footsteps tumble into the hallway, followed by a chorus of excited voices. Mama. Mama, look. Josh is first into the kitchen, holding a slightly crumpled certificate in both hands. Mia and Sam are right behind him, grinning as if they won it too. I take the paper, reading the bold letters at the top, Perfect Attendance Award. It's not about grades, not a big competition, but the pride in their eyes makes it feel like gold. That's amazing, I say, pulling Josh into a hug. I'm so proud of you. Mia tugs at my sleeve. I helped him remember his homework every day. I smile and ruffle her hair. Then I'm proud of you too. For a few minutes, the kitchen is full of their voices, their laughter bouncing off the walls. I catch myself laughing with them, the sound feeling lighter than it has all week. In moments like this, I can almost forget the weight pressing in from outside. Because right now, there's only the four of them, their joy spilling over and filling every corner of this house. And I think, maybe this is what keeps me standing. Not the big dreams, not the hope of change, but these small, fleeting victories that remind me why I stay. Saturday afternoon, the school courtyard is buzzing with music and chatter. Colorful stalls line the edges, children dart between games, their laughter spilling into the warm air. I hold Sam's small hand while Mia skips ahead, tugging Josh toward the face painting booth. Anna walks beside me, a shy smile on her face, her eyes darting to the stage where the choir will perform later. He didn't want to come. Said he was too tired. I didn't argue, I've learned not to. And maybe that's better. Today, the air feels lighter without the shadow of his mood hanging over us. We wander from stall to stall. Sam wins a small stuffed bear at the ring toss, holding it high like a trophy. Mia's cheeks are painted with tiny flowers, and Josh insists on showing me every trick shot he can make at the basketball hoop. When it's time for the choir, we find seats near the front. Anna stands on stage, her voice soft but sure, eyes searching the crowd until they find me. I wave, and she smiles, the kind of smile that makes my chest feel warm all the way through. For a couple of hours, I'm not thinking about bills or arguments or careful silences. It's just me and them, soaking in a world that feels safe and bright. As we walk home, their hands full of prizes and sweets, I catch myself wishing time could slow down, just enough to make this part last. By the time we reach home, the sun is dipping low, painting the street in shades of orange and gold. The kids are still buzzing with excitement, chattering over each other about the games they played and the prizes they won. I push open the front door, letting them spill inside ahead of me. He's in the living room, slouched in the armchair, the TV flickering in front of him. The air changes instantly. Josh runs over, holding out his basketball keychain. "Look, Dad. I won this." He glances at it for barely a second before turning his eyes back to the screen. "That's nice," he mutters, his voice flat. Mia holds up her painted face. "Do you like the flowers?" He gives a short nod without looking. "Yeah." The kids retreat to their room one by one, their earlier excitement dimming like someone slowly turning down a light. I stand in the hallway, watching them disappear behind the door, my hand still resting on the doorknob. The warmth from the afternoon clings to me for a moment longer, then fades, replaced by the familiar weight in my chest. This is what it's like, stepping out into sunlight for a little while, only to return to the same shadow waiting at the door. The house is quiet again. The kids are in bed, their soft breathing filling the hallway when I pass their room. The living room TV hums faintly in the background, but I don't stop there. I go straight to the small desk in the corner of my bedroom. I take out my old notebook. The cover is worn, the pages bent at the corners from years of folding them shut too quickly. It's the only place I can be completely honest without fear of someone's reaction. I sit down and let the pen move. The words spill out faster than I expect, fragments of the day, the way the light felt at the school event, the way it faded as soon as we walked through the door. I write about the children, their smiles, their small triumphs, the way their laughter feels like a fragile flame I have to shield from every gust of wind. Finally, I pause, staring at the blank space left at the bottom of the page. Slowly, I write. I stay because they need me, not because I'm not tired. The truth sits there, heavy but steady. I close the notebook, slide it back into the drawer, and take a deep breath. By morning, I'll put the smile back on. But tonight, at least here on this page, I've told the truth. It's Sunday afternoon, and I'm folding laundry in the bedroom when I hear soft whispers from the living room. Little feet scurry back and forth, the occasional sound of crayons scratching against paper. "Shoo, don't let Mama hear," Mia's voice says, barely above a giggle. I pretend not to notice, letting them think their secret is safe. After a few minutes, there's a knock on the door, gentle, hesitant. "Mama?" I turn to see all four of them standing there, Mia holding something behind her back. Sam can't keep still, bouncing on his toes. "We made you something." Mia steps forward and hands me a folded piece of colorful paper. On the front, in big, uneven letters, it says, "We love you, Mama." Inside, there are drawings, stick figures of the five of us, hearts scattered in every corner, and crooked flowers in every color they could find in the crayon box. I trace the words with my fingers, my throat tightening. "It's beautiful," I whisper. Josh grins. "We wanted to make you smile." I pull them all into a hug, their small arms wrapping around me from every side. For a moment, the walls of this house feel warmer, softer, as if their love can fill every empty space. And I think to myself, maybe this card isn't just paper and crayons. Maybe it's proof that, even here, even now, I'm doing something right. It's late in the evening, the kids already in bed, their room dim except for the faint glow of a nightlight. I'm in the kitchen, wiping down the counter, when I hear his footsteps behind me. For a second, my shoulders tense, the habit is automatic. But his voice, when it comes, is different. Softer. I saw that card the kids made for you, he says, leaning against the doorway. They worked hard on it. I glance at him, unsure where this is going. They did, I reply cautiously. It meant a lot. He nods, looking down at his hands for a moment. Then, almost too quietly, he says, "You do a lot for them, and for me." The words hang there, unfamiliar in his mouth. It's not an apology, not even close, but it's something. I manage a small smile. They're my world. He doesn't stay long. A minute later, he's gone, leaving only the faint echo of words I'm not sure how to take. Was it a crack in the wall between us? Or just a fleeting moment that will be gone by morning? I stand there for a while, cloth still in my hand, wondering if I should hope, or remind myself not to. It's past midnight. The house is silent except for the occasional creak in the wooden floor. I sit at the small desk in my bedroom, a single lamp casting a warm circle of light over a blank sheet of paper. I'm not writing in my usual diary tonight. This isn't a place for daily details or small confessions. This is a letter. To me. For the day I hope will come. I start slowly, my pen scratching across the page. Dear Emmy. If you're reading this, it means you made it. You found a way to breathe without feeling the air was borrowed. You found a place where your laughter is loud and no one tries to quiet it. I hope you're free, and I hope you know you were always stronger than you thought. I pause, my eyes blurring for a moment, then continue. You stayed for them. You gave them love in a house that often forgot what love sounded like. And one day, when they're old enough, they'll know what you carried for them. And they'll thank you. When I finish, I fold the paper neatly and tuck it into an envelope. No address. No date. Just my name written on the front, like a promise to myself. I place it at the back of my drawer, behind old photographs and school drawings. Somewhere safe. Somewhere it can wait, until I'm ready to open it. The dining table is crowded tonight, not with people, but with the noise of little voices. Mia is telling a story about a science experiment gone wrong, Josh keeps trying to make Sam laugh by pulling faces, and Anna is rolling her eyes but smiling anyway. I keep the conversation flowing, passing the bread, refilling glasses, asking questions about their day. It's a performance I've perfected, keeping my tone light, my smile steady, no matter how tired I feel inside. He sits at the end of the table, mostly quiet, occasionally glancing at the clock. I make sure the kids' attention stays on me. I want their world, at least in these moments, to be full of warmth. Who wants dessert? I ask, my voice lifting like it's the best surprise of the day. For hands shoot up, eyes bright, and for a second I catch that pure happiness that belongs only to children. When the bowls of ice cream arrive, their chatter grows even louder. I lean back in my chair, watching them, the way Mia laughs with her head thrown back, the way Josh shares his last bite with Sam, the way Anna looks at me like she knows I'm trying. This is why I smile, even when it's hard. Because their laughter is worth every bit of the weight I carry. And as long as they keep laughing at this table, I'll keep finding a way to protect it. The kitchen is clean, the children are asleep, and the house has fallen into its usual nighttime silence. I walk into the small bathroom, switching on the dim light above the mirror. For a moment, I just stand there, staring at my reflection. The woman looking back at me seems older than 26, not in years, but in the weight she carries in her eyes. There are faint lines around my mouth from holding back words, shadows under my eyes from nights spent thinking instead of sleeping. I run my fingers through my hair, smoothing it back, then rest my hands on the sink. It would be easy to look away, to not face her. But I don't. Instead, I meet my own gaze and whisper, barely loud enough to hear. I can handle one more day. It's not a promise that tomorrow will be easier. It's not even a belief that things will change. It's just enough to keep me moving. I turn off the light, stepping out into the hallway. Behind me, the mirror holds the same reflection, but in my chest, there's the faintest flicker of resolve. It's late. The house is quiet except for the faint hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of the floorboards. I sit at my small desk, the same one where so many nights I've spilled my thoughts onto paper just to keep them from drowning me. Tonight feels heavier than most. Not because something worse happened, but because I'm tired in a way that's deeper than sleep can fix. I open my notebook, the pages already filled with pieces of my days, some sad, some small moments of joy. I pick up my pen and write slowly, each word pressing into the paper like I'm carving it there. He hurt me, but I stayed for them. Because their smiles are worth my scars. I read it back once, then closed the notebook gently. It's the truth, stripped of excuses or justifications. And maybe one day, when they're older, I'll let them read these words so they'll know exactly why I chose to stay. For now, it's enough that I know. The park is alive with the sound of children's laughter and the distant bark of a dog chasing a ball. Golden sunlight spills across the grass, catching on the edges of leaves swaying in the breeze. I'm sitting on a worn wooden bench, watching my four run across the playground. Sam is on the swings, his little legs kicking higher and higher, giggling with every push from Josh. Mia is helping Anna climb to the top of the slide, both of them laughing so hard they can barely hold on. For a moment, I close my eyes and just listen, their voices, bright and unbroken, filling the air around me. No sharp tones. No heavy silences. Just joy. When I open my eyes, I see them waving at me from across the grass. I wave back, and without meaning to, I feel a smile spread across my face. It's small, but it's real. I know this moment won't last forever. I know we'll go home, and the walls will feel heavy again. But right now, this is enough. Their laughter is enough. And as long as they have this, I'll keep standing, scars and all. The camera of life would pull back here, showing the playground bathed in light, a mother on a bench, and four children chasing the kind of happiness she's been fighting to protect all along.